Good morning. Hope everybody is on a start of a great day. Markets are up. And after yesterday's move, I suppose that makes sense. Good morning. Good morning. So Dow has been the one, I guess, the worst hit here, pushing all the way back down to the March lows. And so the question kind of has been, well, what's going to happen here? And we still don't really know, since we really haven't retraced very far off of this low. Was a great day in the NASDAQ. We'll take a look at that. Right here, we are at 258-ish. So not a big deal. And so a little bit of a gap up. And so as we always do, we'll wait 5 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer, to see if markets reverse back down or whether they hold the gap. And so if they continue higher, I suppose the next reference point would be up here where these candles are clustered together and the 50 MA is right there. And that would be an obvious place where sellers might want to give it another try here. You know, it's a pretty big move, pretty fast down to support. So got the move off of the base, and it was a pretty big gap reversal yesterday. We'll take a look at it in some other markets. And spiders, it certainly looked like the 200 was going to get tagged. 280 has been a well-known reference point. And then same story, you can see the gray area pre-market. There's been, and this is probably just a bad tick here, as well as these. The little pullback there toward the rising 20, push up, and I don't know if that's a bad tick or not with this gyration, but anyways, it's moving up, and it's got room to move up. You know, this is such a powerful concept that we use, and it can be a tough one to use in a sense that such a strong move, such as this, you see the gap down, and then prices just continue to move down in an accelerated fashion. And there's the wide range bar suggesting that the move down is about exhausted itself for the moment. Doesn't mean it's going to go up like this. It just means that momentum's to slow down. But such a powerful move is just that. It's powerful, and it suggests a continuation. And that is the essence of continuation patterns, like the 1, 2, 3 continuation pattern, or a measured move type of a continuation pattern. And what is difficult with them is that they strongly suggest a continuation. And the most powerful ones, let me back up for a minute, the most powerful ones come from the beginning of a move, not after it's been going down for a little while into an area of support. So that's a caveat to keep in mind when you see these kind of powerful moves. Especially you see them on an intraday chart, you need to go to the higher time frame and just see where it came from and where it's at. But the point I want to make is that these powerful moves, which we call creating voids, I say that they're the weakest link. And the difficulty with that, what I'm saying, is that it's a strong move, but the weakest link in that if it doesn't continue, and continuation should be chopping around, attempts to go up that fail and come back down, and then you get another break lower. And when that doesn't happen, the whole down move begins to unravel and prices then retrace back up. So when I look at this picture, well, there's no reference point until we get up here, right, toward that 288, right, 289-ish area, which is where the move started down from, and then move down. So between here and here, there's nothing to stop it. So we can make the assumption that it's going up there. And we do make the assumption that it's going up there. At the others, we always have another scenario. We have another concept that keeps us in check. So we trail stop bar by bar with pivots. As it reaches a reference point, the move up is likely to stall and or reverse. But it also can do what we call creating support. And creating support means that it goes up here and it forms a pivot high, right? Pivot high. And then it retests it and then it breaks down below a prior pivot low. So that would end this trend. But at the moment, this looks like it could do this up into here, and then we'll see what happens. So we have a systematic method of doing the analysis objectively without indicators, trend lines, so on and so forth. That just says, hey, as prices form swings, right? Just follow the swings. If there's a void, assume it's going to go up, unless it doesn't. All right? So pretty simple. So we just follow along based on the method. Let's take a look at the other markets. Qs, similar situation, right? Grinding up here, bad tick, ignore, and here's the obvious resistance point. So it dealt with this one, right? It dealt with this one. Prices came down to the prior swing low. Amazing. No lines on the chart, right? Just look to the left, and this is where buyers were. It reversed back up again, and now it pulls back in a more bullish fashion, and we call it, a created supporter, what's known as a bull flag, pull back there. And I don't know if there was some news here. I don't have the news on, but whatever, if that's real or this gyration, we'll see when we look at the futures. But now that it's made a new high, our major support point is down here. So assumption is it can come up here. It's getting close, so there's going to be a hesitancy to continue to buy at that reference point. However, if it was to break down here, this upward trend is now over. And the Russell, right, real crazy pattern here. This is like real crazy. The breakout, the gap down, the move up, the gap down. This is just insanity. Don't want to be any part of it. In any event, it's coming up to this resistance point. It's been underperforming, as you can see. And this kind of a pattern, if it was down here, I'd want to be all over it. I mean, to buy it versus it happening in the middle of nowhere. So I don't know what to do with that. So I just don't do anything. I just move on to something else. Transports, just chopping around here. These are messy patterns as far as if we're looking at this and saying, do I want to swing trade this? Hell no. Right? It's just too much of a mess. It's under the 50. It's under the 200. It's stabilizing. There isn't any significant support here. I'd rather just wait and see how this unfolds. Maybe a retest pattern would be a much better odds setup. And we have mid caps pretty much the same as the small caps, the Russell there. Just messy, kind of crazy price action there. Weekly doesn't look too bad, actually. But let's see how it unfolds into next week. I think that is the prudent thing to do as far as swing trading positions, looking at the markets or seeing whether, we do have a reliable low in place. We'll see. We got some earnings. We're out pre-market. We got some coming out, some big ones coming out after the close. So we'll see how that affects things. And so looking at the futures, you can see the kind of pullback here and the retest. A lot cleaner when you look at the futures because they're trading, actively trading overnight compared to the ETFs. But nice looking chart up against the 50 MA. Everybody knows it's there. Every futures trader, well, they should know it's there. And we're in a sideways kind of a trend there, and looking at resistance a little bit there. But if we can clear this 280. 2870 area, could see a pop up to the prior highs there. So we'll see. The moving average is just a line that we decide to put there. So it's subjective, but everybody that's looking at it on a daily chart. So it does become a self-fulfilling prophecy. But if it doesn't back off from there, buyers will gain some confidence to push this higher. And on the downside, it should not violate below that pivot low. Qs, a little bit of slowing momentum there, right? To back off. And so the way you read slowing momentum without indicators is to just look at the path, the prior move. So obviously this was a strong one, and there's a nice pullback buy setup. And the way you read the slowing momentum is how far does it get beyond the prior high before it stalls? Stalls, it could just be a red bar and then start to retrace. And as you could see, it just barely made it above there and it began to stall right away. So those of you that have your RSIs, your Williams percent Rs, your stochastics, your ultimate indicators, and all of that kind of stuff, if you're set, your settings are set something like a 20 or whatever, you're going to get a lower high based on that. And now that you know how to read it, you don't need that noise on your chart. Dow up 73, coming up to a whole number. It's where it fell from, that prior opening price on the bottoming tail bar. But it's just holding up there sideways here at the open. So kind of opens up the door to traders thinking about buying a breakout here at the open. Maybe that works. We'll see. And similar scenario up at this high area there, right? The top of the big red bar, which is 100% retracement of the red bar. That is impressive. Personally, I'd like to see a retest of this low to get long, but we'll see if that happens next week. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. So if they can get above here, same as the others, opens up the door to pushing up into this area because there's nothing to stop it. And gold was looking good. This may just be a little bit of a pullback there. It is, kind of trying to regain its footing here. It had this really nice move up and the bottoming tail bars here and starting to move up and, a little bit of strength in the market, I guess, kind of got the gold bugs to back off a little bit, but that obviously was an impressive bar and pullback. So the buyers need to step up here pretty soon as the pullback starts to reach the minor support area. Yeah. So we'll see. If you're into gold here, you want to see this begin to stabilize here in this area. Tim in YouTube is hoping for the energy patch going to move up here. It was looking like it could bounce. Let's see. It's, maybe, gap down reversal, still possible there. Big disappointment there with that failure that happened. So we'll see if you can get it going. Obviously a counter trend move. So kind of what I'd call a slug. You can get a bounce out of it, but maybe there's other things, but you see it's up here a little bit, XLE above this little range here. So that could open up the door to a move. So yeah, keep an eye on energy stocks to see if they can move up. They formed a pattern there on the 60, the bottom there. Maybe so, Tim. Bonds back off a little bit, normal, right? Coming up to prior high, still churning up, and we'll see if they can push up through that high there. And you can see there was the pullback on the weekly time frame toward that minor support. And now as it comes up to that area, sellers or buyers, I should say, more so become hesitant to add to positions, and they wait. Some take profits there. And now we see what happens. So as technical traders, when we see reference points like this, right, we buy at support where there's demand. We sell at resistance, sell part at resistance. And then we go into what I call intelligent hope mode. And you say, well, what is intelligent hope mode? Well, if you look at a chart and you say, hey, you know what, this has the potential to go beyond this high because of the move and the pullback, so on and so forth, and you take some profits there, and you see in a smaller time frame, well, the profit taking changes the trend on the hourly time frame. Well, theoretically, the higher time frame is supposed to come into play at some point where buyers want to step up again, and they get the 60-minute, in this case, back in sync with the weekly and the daily, and maybe you get a topping tail red bar ignored, or it comes in a little bit and goes back up. So at this point, we don't know. There's uncertainty because of the prior high, and now you can go bar by bar over here and see if it just chops around, which would be bullish. Clearly, if it drops down to 148, something's wrong, and you decide to get the rest of your money out and reassess. And so there's always the unknown when it comes to trading, but we have a systematic method to monitor objectively. And that keeps ourselves out of the mix, so to speak. And, oh, I'm afraid this is going to happen. Oh, this looks great, and so on. You get caught up in your own thinking or wishes. And crude oil, right? This could help those energy stocks, right? Pretty good price action here. Gap reversal, topping tail being ignored, reversal up. It's coming up to the high of the topping tail. And how will it react here? Same story, whether it's oil or the S&Ps or the NQs. We still read the price action exactly the same way. Makes no difference what it is. Could be soybeans, could be Apple Computer. It's no difference whatever. The method is universal to all tradable instruments. Right? And 18, I don't think anything else for me to look at here. Some stocks moving here pre-market, which Dan can look at. Cisco reported, Walmart reported. We got NVIDIA after the close. I see some things that are getting shellacked here. Amazon's up pretty big. So kind of mixed. You can just see by the colors here as to what's moving up and what's moving down. We'll see how this day unfolds. All yours, Dan.
All right, thanks. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I was saying yesterday into the close that based on the bullish hourly close, hourlies looked higher, but we got into a couple of trades, but I wanted to avoid another night of gap risk, which, on the long side it helped, but we have some more opens, even though we're flat in the weekly options trader. Here's all our opens in the swing and options trader swing letter. Gulf Hotel, we bought it into the close here. It's looking great. So if it's gapping up to 78, then that puts us up a buck and change. EVRI was a new addition yesterday. Pepsi, we bought into the close. I wish, right into noon though, with an extended market. So I don't regret it, but that could have been one of those of take half. Buy half here and half if it closes strong. Looks like it's gapping up, so that is good for us. Stop yesterday's low. X-ray, we were long stock and lagged into a covered call. November Sierra. I like the bigger time frames. It's against us here. We bought 2 days ago, and we're just going to let it play out. Our stop is way the heck down here, on an intraday pivot. Maxer, we're long a half lot. We sold a half lot 2 days ago at 22% return. We're looking to go back to full size once it sets up. TMUS is a mess. We bought the breakout here, and then on the Trump gap down day, we legged into a covered call. So that's doing his job perfectly. I hope he's gapping up to 62. That would be a nice gift, but there's no volume, so I can't tell. Yeah, bond offering, but there's no prints pre-market here, trader. So it's telling me that it hopefully shouldn't be bad news. Gaps here, ELOS 1975. That's a bearish gap to this prior low. SWKS is getting whacked. It's extended, but getting whacked a little bit more here to 76.50. No trade. Triple M is just a leftover Climo I've been watching. And I actually like this little topping tail in this. It's not a a bottom, but it's still a slight retest. If it can take out, today's Thursday, if it can take out Tuesday's high, then this is a better pattern than just buying a Climo over 1 bar, because now my stop is yesterday's low. Zulu Sierra, Trader, I still like this if you can get us a put spread under this red bar, 67.50. Beyond is just a recent IPO. We had a nice 2-day put spread on that. Vert, 41 bucks. Oh, that's ugly. Wow, that's ugly. But ugly can also mean pretty, meaning opportunity when it sets up. But the gap's too big on the downside for me to want to do anything to short. This is a mess, but let's look at this for a put spread. Trader McGraw, 70 is a nice red pivot now. AYX, 89 bucks. It's a very, very deep pullback. Climactic on the monthly. I don't know, that would be a day trade only if it sets up. Wix is getting whacked, 131. It's a big old gap, but it's, I'm looking for tier ones again, which are multiple time frames in alignment, better with a, bullish or bearish gap involved. NGG 5220 looks like an ADR the way it's gapping, bearish gap. That's 30-minute low trade, but I don't like ADRs myself. Rio's an ADR also, but 59.31. That's a very bullish gap right above resistance. That is a tier 1 gap. Trader, does the weekly chart support a bullish daily long? Yep, absolutely. That's a buy setup, rising 20. Minor support right there on the weekly, these prior highs. That is a tier 1. That's what I'm looking for. So that is going into a window. That is so nice that I would, it has to set up on the intraday. That's part 2. But I would trade that as, even though it's an ADR. Put it to a 5-minute chart. All right, so we finally got a tier 1. This is a bearish gap that bullies. Close enough. It didn't do 100%, but close enough. But now it's gapping down. I don't like the way it trades. You're gone. Tandem. This came from you, trader. Let's see if we can get a put spread under the week's low. I like this 2-bar reversal right here. It was trying to hold, and boom, on the weekly 2-bar reversal. That's a bullish reversal. Now remember, 2-bar reversals in our definition have to be wide range. It's not a little puny. It's not a puny red one and a puny green one. They have to be potent, big ones like that. 15 bucks, bullish gap. I don't like the way it trades. You're out of here. This one I'm watching as a bear call credit spread. It was a bull put credit spread over this high, and it didn't trigger, and now it's looking weaker. Halliburton was a carryover. We were trying to do a put spread, but the gap up messed it up. But I still like it. That's still on my list. KMB, I like this. Buying yesterday's high. Nice multi-week consolidation. Railroad track 2050. WEC, WEC, it's still a bull 1, 2, 3. Actually 1, 2, 3, 4, because you got 2 inside red bars. Walmart, what does NS mean? It's the stock we're in, Nick. It's a long stock. Walmart here. Wow, that's been trading crazily. 103, it's a bullish gap, but extended pre-market. Let's keep an eye on that for put spread candidate. NT's 273. Here's a put spread candidate. Is that earnings today too? Put spread candidate, yep. And it's earnings, so I like those. Putting that in a window. Window meaning thumbnail. Cisco, also a buy setup on the weekly, extended on the daily, support, gapping up, 54. That's a little excessive. I have it here in a window. We'll keep an eye on it. Put spread candidate. Mitch, we missed the 1, 2, 3. Zulu Sierra still looks great. I think I mentioned it down here, yeah. Pulte is a 1, 2, 3. You can buy over the highs. Yep. I love that's a great statement. Oh, that made me laugh. If you don't understand this, stop trading. That's funny. It's true, but I mean, I like your objective black and white statement. Stop trading.
Always black and white. No gray areas as much as possible. It's the truth. If you
No, I
don't
know.
understand that slide, you're dangerous to your financial well-being.
That was good. GPN, it's on my long just watch list. Roku, just watch list. If we can get a put spread, just.
By the way, if you don't understand it, I'm happy to explain it to you during lunchtime.
There you go. Pepsi, we entered yesterday. Okay, Intel, AVP. You got a little bear sandwich here on the weekly, and you got room on the monthly. And I like the fact that it's just churning up here. Maybe it triggers on Monday. SPWR, it still is not triggered, but it's still valid. Uber and Lyft had nice bounces yesterday. Michael, all these pot stocks. I scanned my entire universe. The entire universe yesterday, and I got nothing, which is totally fine. We only trade. No setup, no trade. All right, I was hoping it was gap. Well, it's doing well. It didn't gap up here to 62, but it's still breaking out. We're back in profitable territory. That's a good sign. Come on, Now, if the market weakens, I gotta think seriously about moving the stop break even. We sat through 3 days of intelligent hope mode. Q's